I can pack up the house and give it back to you. You can have it. If you own a newly constructed home.
Hello friends, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to my YouTube channel. So in today's video, we'll be talking about there is a growing number of people in the United States of America who are walking away from the dream of home ownership, not because they want to, but because they simply can't keep up with the pressure of sky-high mortgage payments. So I've put the stitches together so that you watch and learn. I'll be back to share my truths.
I can pack up the house and give it back to you. You can have it. If you own a newly constructed home or you're buying a newly constructed home, stay here. So tell me how I signed a document with all the documents signed, your payment 1907, and you signed a million documents. Now a year later, they hit me up in February talking about your payment is 3450. I bet it ain't. I bet it's not. So the first year when you buy your home, your newly constructed home, they're only charging you for the taxes, the property taxes on the land, the raw land. Well, the land was only worth $60,000. Well, now that the house has been put on it and now there's a development around you, that now that land this year is worth $110,000, and they put a 400 and something, almost $500,000 house on top. So now your taxes are going to go to correct. So now your mortgage is going to increase. Now, when they done tell you got a fixed rate, you got a fixed payment and all, they not explaining to you that the property taxes will increase that payment. My payment went up to $34.50. How? How? Because I can pack up the house and give it back to you. You can have it. Like, so so they send a little letter. I called because with this letter, don't send no letter when you talking about my money. I called a lady. The lady basically telling me, yeah, somebody should have told you. They didn't tell me, ma'am. And that's another thing. Your realtors, some realtors, they gonna comment. I tell my clients that was your realtor's fault. That was okay, but we not here for that. I'm here for the people that if y'all have experienced this or if y'all about to experience this because it's y'all first house in y'all newly constructed home. The taxes is not right. Pay extra. Pay extra. Let me tell you how crazy it was, because when I signed the paperwork, they said your payment, like the lender was, my loan originator was like, your payment gonna be 2407, but when we got to the paperwork, it was 1907. So then I said, hey, it's supposed to be 24. You said, he said, no, don't even worry about it. That I always overbid. So, when you get here, I can give you good news. And I'm over here giving him brownie points, sending him edible arrangements and shit. And nigga, you knew it was supposed to be 2400 because the taxes, you didn't say that. So now I'm paying 1907, happy as hell, paying 1907, and then the next year come in and I gotta pay because the escrow didn't have no money. They done paid the taxes for me, sir. Lender, I didn't ask you to pay the tax. Don't pay the taxes on my behalf. You better call me and tell me my escrow was low. So they done paid the taxes. Now they talking about I owe them $34.50 a month for the next 3 years, or I can come out of my pocket 18, like 17, 18. We is struggling. The county, the city, the states, America is down.
My mortgage went up $1,000 and I am not okay. So let me tell you guys, for the longest time, people be screaming from the hilltop, home ownership is not it. Like, don't rush, don't rush. And I will just be like, I don't understand it because I'm literally chilling, like cheaper than rent. I was bamboozled. So let me tell y'all what they do not tell y'all about real estate. So they do an analysis every year from, at least with the mortgage that I got, right? And so they did an analysis and basically my mortgage increased by $1,000. And I asked them why. And they were like, something about my house is a new build. And so I guess they charged me for the taxes when it was just the land for 2 years. Then after year 2, they add the taxes with the house actually on it. And they were like, yeah, your builder is supposed to tell you. They didn't. They didn't. And so I asked them, can I sell the house? And they were like, there's no equity in it. You guys see me smiling, but come next month, I'm literally going to be in tears because $1,000 extra a month, I legit want to move back home and live with my parents. But I don't have that option. I'm sick. Like, I'm sick. Honestly, don't buy a house if you're single. Like, buy a house when there's 2 incomes coming in because, baby, you gonna need it.
Okay, so quick story time of how my mortgage increased by 120% and how easy it is for Black folks to lose their homes in America. Now, with that being said, I'm going to be completely transparent. I'm going to give y'all all the numbers. I'm just going to let you know because ain't no point in hiding. I don't gatekeep, none of that. Okay, so the beginning of this month, I wake up and I have a notification from my bank saying that my account went under $100. This is interesting because the night before I knew the mortgage was coming out, so I transferred a good hefty amount over what the mortgage was going to be, and I'm like, drop below $100, that's crazy. So I get online and I see that my bank has taken a double payment with like a little bit more. So my mortgage is usually $100, baby, I wish, $1,100. And when I went to go check, they had taken out $2,400. So my first thought is, this is interesting. Like maybe what they did was a double payment. Like maybe something didn't come out last month. And so like maybe that's what it was. Like maybe this is double payment and like a late fee. But that wouldn't make sense to me because it's on auto pay. So if something happened and the funds were there, that wasn't on me. So anyway, I'm like, okay, whatever. Let me just check. So I scroll back up to see if the payment was taken out for March. Sure enough, it was taken out for March, a payment of $1,100. So I'm like, why did I get a payment of $2,400 taken out? So I call my mortgage company and I'm like, hey, what's good? I just want to make sure, like, I'm just trying to figure out what's going on. Like, why did y'all take out a payment of $2,400? And the lady's like, oh, that's your new payment. What do you mean that's my new payment? She's like, well, that's your new payment because you don't have enough in escrow. And your taxes went up by $6,000. My taxes went up by $6,000. Now here's the part that gets crazy. So I'm like, okay, let me check all this out. So three things happened that caused my mortgage to increase. One, she told me that we don't have any money in my escrow. I'm going to talk about that in a second. We don't have any money in our escrow. Two, my homeowner's insurance went up from $2,000 to $4,000. Called them, they were like, well, we don't know what's going on, like the mortgage rates are just the highest they've ever been in Texas right now. We ain't got nothing for you, basically. That's it. Like, what you gonna do? Started shopping around, all of that. The third thing, we'll talk about that again. The third thing was that my property taxes went up. So I go onto the county website to see like what the heck is going on, because this doesn't make sense to me. So when I calculate everything, my insurance had only gone up $711. I remember the number because 711. So I called back. I'm like, ma'am, now this is where everything pisses me off, and there's literally nothing we can do about it. There's nothing that we can do about it. We can call to try to get like cheaper homeowners insurance, but for the most part, it doesn't even matter. Now, so whenever I call this lady back, I'm like, or the company back, I'm like, I don't understand what happened, because every June or July, somewhere around there, they do an escrow analysis and they see, do you have enough money in escrow? For those of you that are new to homeownership, don't own a home, don't know what it is, whatever. Escrow is an amount that you pay every single month. So at the end of the year, they pay things like your homeowner's insurance and your taxes, right? So that way it doesn't come out of pocket at any time for you. You've already been paying all year, so they just write your taxes a check and they write your homeowners a check. Okay, you pay that within your mortgage. Now, and every July they do like an escrow analysis where they say, do you have more than enough? Do you have too little? Do you have to make something up? What's going on? Do you have a deficit or do you have excess? So they hit us up last month and they were like, yeah, you're good. Like you actually got too much. So we're going to send you a check. They sent us a check. They wrote us off a check for $2,900. Okay, cool, bet. Now, for those of you who are like, oh, you shouldn't have spent the $2,900. That way your escrow, baby, we can pay the $2,900 right now. What we cannot pay is an additional $1,300 a month. $1,300 a month is crazy. And there's nothing we can do about it. Like, we can't go back and say, yo, y'all told us we were good. They don't give a damn. They do not care, baby. They don't care. So they literally told us, there's nothing, you just gonna have to pay this unless you have like all the thousands of dollars saved up right now to give to us in a large check. I think it was like 10,000, something like that. Then baby, you're just gonna have to pay this extra $1,300 every single month, and then we'll do another analysis. Anyway, I'm gonna have to do a part 2 because this is too long, but I will explain what basically we're waiting for in the next thing. If you have any questions, let me know. I know I didn't want to make this too long, but yeah, this is really what we're dealing with right now. And this is how easy it is, especially for people who are one generation removed from Jim Crow. My parents grew up in the Jim Crow South. Who was going to teach them about financial literacy? Who was going to give them that information to then pass down to us? Like, my parents are the first homeowners. Anyway, I digress. We'll talk about that, but I'll do a part two.
That's a video, guys. I'm just here to share my true sense, like what I think about today's video. Americans are giving up from high mortgage payments. Okay, so people are giving up of the dream of home ownership, not because they want to, but because the finances are not keeping up with the pressure of high mortgage payments. What used to be seen as a milestone of adulthood, a symbol of stability and success, is now becoming a financial nightmare for many people. The rising interest rate, inflated homes prices, and stagnant wages have collided into a storm that pushing families, couples, and even individuals to say enough is enough. And let's be real, it's not just about the numbers, it's about the emotional, so the stress and the feeling of being stuck in a system that's no longer working in favor of the average American people. People are tired of spending half of or more of their income just to keep a roof over their heads. And it's not always a luxurious roof either. We are talking about modest homes in average neighborhoods with very little wiggle rooms, adding property taxes, insurance, maintenance, and unexpected repairs. And you got a monthly bill that's shocking people financially. It is used to be the buying a home meant you had finally made it, that you were investing in your future. Now it feels more like a trap, a consistent financial drain that leaves very little room for saving, traveling, or even just breathing. People are working harder than ever, yet they not see the benefits. And when your mortgage becomes the center of your anxiety, it's no wonder people are choosing to let go of all these things. Some are selling their homes and downsizing, moving into smaller spaces, or even renting again. Others are packing up and relocating entirely, often to small towns, rural areas, or even other countries where the cost of living is more manageable. We have seen a huge rise in Americans moving to places like Mexico, Portugal, or parts of South America where their dollars stretch further and their lifestyle feels more balanced. It's not just about escaping the bills, it's about reclaiming their lives. They are tired of living paycheck to paycheck in a country where everything feels like it's increasing, okay, except peace of mind. And honestly, can we blame them? Let's talk about how this mortgage pressure is impacting younger generations too. Millennials and Gen Zs are watching their parents struggling with sky high mortgage payments and asking themselves, is this really what I want? Many of them are choosing not to buy at all. They are renting, living with roommates, or even staying with family to avoid diving headfirst into a 30-year commitment that might ruin their mental health. They are being called lazy or irresponsible by other generations, but the truth is that being cautious. They see the writing on the wall. They're looking at the economists and saying, this doesn't make sense, and then they're right. Why should anyone spend decades paying off a home just to feel like they're drowning the entire time? We also need to talk about how this housing crisis is reshaping the American dream. For decades, owning a home was part of the blueprint. Go to school, get a job, buy a house, build a life. But now that blueprint is cracked. It's not because people don't want to work hard, it's because the system is set up in a way that makes it near impossible for the average person to keep up. The cost of homes has gone up in many areas while wages have stayed largely the same. You can expect people to commit to a mortgage when they are already struggling to cover groceries, gas, and healthcare. It's not just about giving up a house, it's about letting go of the dream that no longer feels achievable or even sustainable. There is also the emotional aspect we need to consider. The shame that comes with falling behind on mortgage payments, the stress of foreclosure notices, the fear of losing everything you've worked for. It takes a toll on your mental health, and people are starting to prioritize their mental well being over keeping up appearances. They are choosing freedom over ownership. They would rather rent and have the flexibility to move, travel, or pivot their careers then be changed to a mortgage that keeps them awake at night. And that's a radical shift in mindset. And it's not about failure anymore. It's about survival. It's about making smart, intentional choices in a world that keeps shifting the goalpost. We are also seeing a rise in an alternative lifestyle, van life, tiny homes, co-living communities. People are getting creative. They're looking for ways to live comfortable without the pressure of uh, a, a mortgage. And let me tell you, you know what? Many of them are happier. They are finding peace in simplicity. They're trading square footage for financial freedom. And in doing so, they're changing the idea that bigger is always better. Okay, they're proving that home ownership is not the only path to fulfillment. For some, letting go of mortgage is the beginning of better free life. Now, of course, this is not a one size fits at all situations. People still want to own homes, and that's totally valid for them. But the reality is shifting. More and more Americans are waking up to the fact that owning a home at all costs is not worth it, the stress. It's not worth it sacrificing their healthy, their relationship, or their happiness. They're looking for a balance. They're looking for breathing room. And for many, that means stepping away from the traditional path of home ownership at least for now. So what can we take away from this? First, we need to stop judging people for stepping away from mortgages. It's not always a sign of failure. Sometimes it's the smartest move they can make at this moment. Second, we need to talk about openly about housing affordability and how it's affecting real people. Because behind every foreclosure, every for sale sign, every move across state lines is a story of someone who tried their best but couldn't make it all. And finally, we need to reimagine what success look like. Maybe it's not the big house in the suburbs. Many it's a peaceful in a small apartment. Maybe it's a financial stability, mental wellness, and the freedom to choose what works for you. Okay. At the end of the day, people are waking up. They're realizing that the system doesn't care about their well-being, so they have to take for themselves. And if that means giving up a mortgage, walking away from a house, or choosing a different path entirely, then it's so to be. It takes courage to say, this is not working for me, and even more courage to create a new vision of the American dream, one that rooted in a freedom, peace, and authenticity. Because home is not just a building, it's how you feel when you walk through the door. And if that feeling is suffocating instead of safe, maybe it's time to let go of this. So if you're the one or the people thinking about walking away from high mortgage payments, you're not alone. You're not crazy. You're not irresponsible. You're not simply choosing you're simply choosing yourself. And that might just be the most powerful thing you can do as a person. So a lot of people, like we've seen on TikTok, people come crying, okay? They have given up their mortgages, now they are living in their cars. It's not like people have never tried, they have tried. And it's not easy like for them to keep up with this because they just look for the like they just look at their salary and see how much am I making. I'm supposed again this mortgage has increased. Now I'm supposed to pay all this percentage. What am I going to live with? Am I going to eat? Okay, people now are choosing which one to go for. Is it to pay for the rent or maybe to go somewhere else to go to more small apartments? Okay, I came across again a video on TikTok where a woman said she even contacted them and explained that, can I even sell the house? They said you can sell because it has like conditions to that, and because I think she doesn't qualify to certain things. So I think people should be clear and make it clear for the people who are interested to buy houses, because some of them they don't really understand like what are the conditions and all that. Okay, and if the years are coming, what is it going to be? So you just have to be very clear when you want to buy a house. Make sure you are comfortable. Okay, buying a house shouldn't stress you, because once you have that house, if that house is going to give you problems every time, then you won't be a happy person. Okay, so this is many why many Gen Z are choosing this router of not having a house. It's better they're going to rent and all that, but people are not seeing the good part of it. I know every situation has a um good and but the bad side. People are just looking at the bad side, like why you not deciding to buy and all that. But they know themselves like this thing you just stress me. I see there's no benefit of doing that. Yeah, so thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in my next episodes.